They say before you place your bet, place your belief. But what if I told you belief is not enough? What if you've been sabotaging your own luck with every word you whisper to yourself, every silent thought you let echo in your mind? Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you might sound strange. It might even sound ridiculous. But the strangest truths are often the ones we refuse to believe until they work. My name is Elijah Ward. I've spent the last 23 years studying the undercurrent of reality, not what you see, but what moves what you see. And tonight, I want to take you into the shadows of language, into a realm where words are not just tools, but triggers of fate. So let me ask you, have you ever held a lottery ticket in your hand and thought, this is the one? Have you felt the electric buzz of possibility tingling down your spine, only to walk away again, empty? I've been there, but someone once whispered something to me. A man named Samuel, a nearly blind street musician in Durban, South Africa. He told me, the universe doesn't respond to hope, it responds to frequency. And then he said, your words carry frequency, but most people never learn the right ones. That night, I didn't sleep because those words haunted me. He wasn't talking about prayers or affirmations. He was talking about what he called switch words. And before you roll your eyes or click away, listen. Because if even a fragment of this is true, it might be the missing piece between you and your miracle. I'm not here to sell you fantasy. I'm here to provoke something ancient in you, something that remembers the power of spoken vibration. Before science, before books, before thought became religion, our ancestors used words to summon harvests, calm storms, and shift destinies. So what exactly are switch words? Not affirmations, not mantras. They are simple, single words believed to speak directly to your subconscious, bypassing logic, doubt, and fear. Words like reach, divine, count, together find, not poetic, not spiritual, just coded. Coded to tap into something inside you that already knows how to win. And yes, win, whether it's the lottery or a second chance at life. But here's the thing. Most people lose not because they're unlucky, but because they speak like losers. I never win. It's just luck. This stuff doesn't work for people like me. And those phrases, they become switch words too, but in reverse. They switch off the possibility. Now let me tell you a story. It was 2003. A woman named Maribel, a cleaning lady in Houston, used to listen to gospel radio while scrubbing floors in an office tower. One morning, a guest preacher said something that hit her. Don't just pray for favor, speak favor. That night, she whispered one word to herself, count. She didn't know why. She just felt drawn to it. She repeated it every time she touched water, washing dishes, bathing her kids, flushing a toilet. Count, count, count. 3 weeks later, she received a letter from her estranged sister in Guatemala. Inside was a check, inheritance, a sum Maribel didn't even know existed, enough to buy a house, quit her job, and start the bakery she always dreamed of. Coincidence? Maybe. But when you hear enough stories like this, coincidence begins to sound like denial in disguise. Before we go further, take a moment and subscribe to this channel, because if you're here now, something in you is ready to remember. And this journey we're on, it only gets stranger. It only gets deeper. You don't have to believe me now, but stay, because the deeper we go into this world of switch words, the more you'll feel it. Not just in your mind, but in your skin, your gut, your breath. And when we reach the end of this video, you might just walk away with one word. Just one. That changes everything. I once asked a Tibetan monk in Nepal, do you believe in luck? He smiled and said something I never forgot. Luck is what happens when the soul remembers its own power. And then as the mountain wind whispered through his prayer beads, he added, but most people have forgotten the words that wake it. Let that sit with you for a moment, because that's the very heart of today's mystery. Words. Forgotten words. Powerful words. Now let me tell you something that might challenge everything you've been taught. In the book of Genesis, it wasn't light that came first. It was the Word. In the beginning was the Word. Not the fire, not the sun, but a vibration, a frequency, a spoken code that cracked the fabric of void and brought forth form. So ask yourself this, if the entire universe was born from a word, what might a single word still create in your life? Let's go deeper. In Hindu traditions, there's a concept known as Bej mantras, seed sounds. These are short syllables, each believed to hold the essence of a divine energy. like ram for protection, shreem for wealth, aim for wisdom. But these aren't just sounds to chant blindly. They're switches passed down from oral tradition because spoken language carries activation. Yes, just like the switch words we're talking about now. Different names, same principle. Even in Islamic tradition, there's something remarkable. The 99 names of Allah, each a word of power describing a facet of the divine. People are taught to repeat them, not as ritual, but as a way of aligning the soul to the source. The name Al-Razak, the provider, is often repeated in times of financial struggle. Why? Because the vibration of the word begins to transform the expectation of the speaker, and expectation is the language of the subconscious. Let me be clear. This is not about religion. This is about the human pattern. Every civilization, every mystic tradition has known that sound, especially intentional sound, creates a shift in reality. So where does this leave you? Right now. With your ticket, your hope, your fear. You stand at the edge of the possible, but you still speak the language of limits. So what if, just what if, one switch word could flip the script? There's a story I heard in Morocco while staying in a stone house in Fes. An old man named Kadir, who sold rugs in the market, told me this. Every morning I said one word before I touched my first coin. Together. Not because I needed a partner, but because I needed the world to conspire with me. He believed that word brought him synchronicity, not magic, alignment. Within 2 years, he owned 4 stalls, not because he prayed for it, but because he spoke into it, daily, rhythmically, with intention. And that's the missing ingredient for most of us, isn't it? We wish, we hope, we visualize, but we don't command. And switch words, they're not about superstition, they're commands. Short, punchy, emotionally resonant codes, not to the universe, but to the deepest part of your mind. Let me show you what I mean. Try this. Close your eyes. Say the word find. Don't just speak it. Feel it. Let it echo. Find. Say it again and picture yourself finding the thing you desire, that winning ticket, that miracle phone call, that breakthrough moment. Do you feel that flicker? That tiny surge? That's not imagination. That's the subconscious responding. You're bypassing the gatekeeper of logic and going straight to the generator. This is the essence of switch words. And here's where it gets real. I once conducted a private group study, nothing official, just a circle of curious souls from 10 different countries. Each was given a specific switch word related to money, drawn from old writings and modern interpretations. One woman, Clarice from the Philippines, chose hole in one. Strange, right? A golfing term, but she repeated it daily. She wrote it on sticky notes, carried it in her purse, said it before paying bills. Why? Because the phrase to her meant precision, alignment, impossible luck becoming inevitable. 3 weeks later, she didn't win the lottery. She landed a job in Dubai with triple her old salary that she hadn't even applied for. Coincidence? The rational mind says yes. But the soul whispers, switch, word, worked. Now listen, if anything you've heard so far has stirred something in you, if part of you is screaming, this makes too much sense to ignore, then subscribe to this channel because this rabbit hole only goes deeper from here. And if you've ever tried a switch word, comment below what it was. Tell us what happened. Because I believe those who share their testimony activate the chain for others. Now you're probably wondering, so which switch word should I use before I play the lottery? We'll get there. But you're not ready until you understand this. You don't choose the word chooses you. And in the next chapter of this journey, you'll hear about a man named Micah who dreamt of numbers but woke up with a word instead. And that word, well, you'll see. Micah was just an ordinary man, worked nights at a warehouse in Ohio, lived alone, quiet. He wasn't into spiritual things. He didn't meditate, didn't chant, just survived. But for years, he'd been playing the lottery. Same numbers, week after week, and nothing. He was about to give up. Then, one night, after a long shift and a cold dinner, he had the strangest dream. He didn't see winning numbers. He didn't see a ticket. Instead, he was standing in an empty room, and a voice whispered, clear, firm, impossible to ignore, count. Just that, one word, count. He woke up sweating, confused, but something in him clicked. He didn't understand why, but the word haunted him, followed him. He began repeating it quietly throughout the day. Count. Before clocking in, count. Before opening his locker, count. While walking past scratch-off machines. And things began to shift. Micah wasn't suddenly rich. Not yet, but opportunities showed up. A friend he hadn't spoken to in years suddenly repaid an old debt. His landlord offered to lower his rent. He found a forgotten $100 savings bond in an old shoebox. Every time before each shift, he whispered, "Count." And then on a random Thursday, he bought a ticket. Not the usual numbers, just a quick pick. He didn't think much of it. But that night, while brushing his teeth, he froze. Because on the TV behind him, the numbers on the screen matched the ones on his ticket. Micah won $50,000, not millions. But to a man who had eaten canned soup for weeks, it felt divine. Now I can hear the skeptics. It's just a story. It's just coincidence. It's not science. But let me ask you something. What if the words you ignore are the very keys the universe is using to get your attention? What if you've been surrounded by codes your whole life, on billboards, in dreams, in offhand comments, and you've dismissed them because they didn't look like divine instruction? Switch words are not magic in the sense of fairy dust. They're activation codes. They don't force the universe to bend. They align you with the direction it's already flowing when you stop resisting. Because here's the deepest truth of all. You don't win the lottery when the numbers match. You win when your frequency matches the reality you desire. Read that again. Most people say, "I'll believe it when I see it." But switch words whisper back, "You'll see it when you speak it." And maybe, just maybe, that's the power you've been missing all along. Now, I promised you something earlier, a word. A switch word many have claimed brought sudden wins, windfalls, or unexpected abundance. Here it is. Divine, count together. Repeat it slowly. Divine, count together. Each part has a purpose. Divine, if to connect you to the highest possible timeline. Count to focus your subconscious on receiving and accumulating. Together, to unify all energies, people, forces in your favor. Say it before buying your ticket. Say it after. Write it down. Feel it. Don't just say the word. Let it become the rhythm of your breath. Because in that breath, you are no longer begging life for a favor. You are commanding your reality to respond. And the universe, it listens to those who remember how to speak the language of power. So here's your challenge. Tonight, before you sleep, say it. Divine, count together. In the morning, whisper it again. Say it before you buy anything. Say it before you check your numbers. Say it when you feel fear or doubt or excitement, and then watch what happens. If this video stirred something in your soul, comment below. The word found me. Let others know they're not alone in this awakening. And remember to subscribe because this is only the beginning. In the next episode, I'll share with you the one forbidden switch word ancient mystics used to call down favor so sudden it was banned in royal courts. But until then, breathe, speak, align, because your next word might just be your next world.